Kate Sullivan-Hare. But now I want to hear from Mr. Jones. How many, and maybe this is weight that's going to fall on your shoulders.
Well, yes. We recognize that retaliation is always a concern for residents reporting issues and complaints that they have with providers. And that said, we have a very strict confidentiality rule in place that's kind of handed down to us by the federal government. So when we enter facilities, we're very careful not to announce our presence, not to announce our purpose and reason for being in the facility. We also try to engage the resident councils, the family councils, to empower individuals to work together. But we think that we are addressing as many issues that are brought to us. Certainly with any type of maltreatment, there's always a good number that are not represented that come forward. But we're doing all that we can to create a presence in all of the facilities, including the community where our home and community-based services are being provided, so that we address issues as they arise.
So do you have, firstly, what are your numbers? What are your numbers showing from last year, those cases that you had to get involved in?
I don't have a breakdown, but I could say that most of the issues relate to inappropriate discharges. And then we have second in line issues with care in terms of those numbers. So
right.
Inappropriate discharges, illegal discharges, or unsafe and disorderly discharges, and then care issues.
All right. Is it possible for us to get, this committee to get your numbers from FY17 and FY16?
Absolutely.
That will inform us. Also, I was just wondering, as you are looking at the I think you mentioned 4 types of issues that you have to deal with. Do you have the occasion when they're these so-called illegal discharge situations to have the Adult Protective Service involved in any way?
Typically, we have a very strict discharge regulation here in the district. Individuals must have a location before they're discharged, and they should have a care plan meeting before that takes place. Mm-hmm. Oftentimes, individuals are maybe misinformed, and they voluntarily accept a discharge. However, each facility and program is required to submit a discharge notification, not only to the resident, but to submit one to the Department of Health as well as to the Ombudsman program. Those discharge notices are reviewed on a daily basis as they come in, and if they are determined to be inappropriate, then a administrative hearing is filed immediately to stay the discharge.
So your office, does it work with a cadre of professionals that serve as guardians or custodials for the persons that are being discharged or sort of moved around that are in your long-term care system?
There are cases where individuals in long-term care have guardians or even power of attorneys in place. Yes. And we work with all concerned, but the immediate response is, if there's an inappropriate discharge, is to file for a fair hearing, and that automatically stays the discharge.
Okay. Well, on behalf of the aging community, I'd like to talk further with you about these, so we would arrange to have a discussion and
Yes,
talk further
absolutely.
about that.
Look forward to that.
Thank you. I mean, I know that it can be an issue. In fact, one of the first bills I had the pleasure of putting in place was one that helps those who are under guardianship type care to at least get a report, have a report prepared and presented to the courts now
That is
on an
correct.
annual basis. Because at one point, there was a strong feeling that once you needed assistance with your living style, that there would be no need for a report. You stayed in that state of being.
I think the annual report certainly helps, and we try to provide, as a part of our community education, training on guardianship, power of attorneys, and advance directives.
So annual report helps. Does it make sense, since we're all really living longer, to have reports twice a year? The circumstances ever change enough? I mean, I know that the accounts, the financial accounts of the individual may continue to diminish, but what I'm asking, do the individuals do their health needs improve?
I don't think that's a difficult challenge. We meet quarterly with the oversight agencies anyway, and we are constantly updating the data as we go. So it's not, if you're asking specifically for a report for the committee, I'm sure we could figure that out. We could discuss that.
All right.
But as it is, we meet quarterly with all of the government agencies, and we discuss trends and data and priorities.
All right, well, thank you very much. Councilmember Robert White and Councilmember Brianne Nadeau have joined me, so would you like to have a question or two?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I don't have any questions for this panel, but did want to thank Ms. Hare and anybody else involved in helping to draft the assisted living update bill, which was introduced unanimously by the council. So really appreciate the advocacy that you have put into that, and appreciate the entire panel and everyone else who's come to testify today.
All right, Councilmember Nadeau.
Madam Chair, thank you. I think I'm following parts of this panel around the building.
You are.
So, all good things. I think we're seeing, I can tell you, because I've been upstairs for a couple hours now in the Health Committee oversight hearing, that we have so many good synergies between that committee and this committee when it comes to the needs of seniors in the district. So I want to thank each of you for your testimony, and I don't have any additional questions, but know that apparently everywhere in the building today, we are thinking about seniors. So that's good news. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. Thank you, panelists. Thank you very much.
Thank you.